Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Combat Conversations, and I'm your boy AG, aka the Boxing Guru, and I'm joined with my man DB. What's going on with it, baby?
Shit, not much, AG. How's it going?
So we got fighters that's broke, we got promotions that's ducking, we got people don't want no fight, we got people want fights outside of the cage. With Combat Conversations is where it's at. And these last couple weeks and upcoming weeks, it's about to be crazy, bro. It's about to be crazy.
Oh, you already know it.
So let's see. Hold on. We got Kazmat trying to start a fight outside. We got Bud don't want to fight Spence. We got Spence don't want to fight Bud. We got Al Heyman ain't got no money to give to nobody. We got an app.
And they about to lose Showtime.
And he about to lose Showtime. And we got an app that ain't nobody heard of that all of a sudden out of nowhere can offer Bud Crawford twice as much to fight than their revenue. Okay, so right off the bat, nobody knows what the fuck is going on. The Bronze Bomber's back. The GWOAT's in the building. We got a new champ in unified Alycia Baumgardner. It is just wow right now. Islam is above the game. Olivera takes it. Where do we begin? Where do we start?
I think we just might as well break open that UFC 280, cuz.
Since it's fresh on the stove?
Since it's fresh on the stove, cuz.
Oh, man.
We might as well get into that.
Already. So UFC 280 this past weekend. What lived up to the hype? I mean, we gonna break it down.
It did.
That overall card, I think from top to bottom throughout the whole day was good. And you gotta love waking up to fights that early. You gotta love it.
Definitely.
It's better than football on Sundays. I mean, I know how much combat sports loves the nightlife. You know what I mean? It loves the 10 o'clock at night, the arenas. It's just beautiful. But when you get some fights early in the day and throughout the whole, man, that's just quality in itself. Some people love the NFL Sundays. I love the boxing on the weekends early in the day.
And I mean, these weren't just
UFC.
any fights. These weren't just any fights.
No.
These were quality championship fights.
Quality.
And that's what we love to see. So we about to break it down.
Chief support. Let's build up to it, because this was the hype train. Did the Sugar Show get blessed a robbery?
I wouldn't say he got blessed a robbery. But I mean, he does know, because in credit to him, because after the fight, even he knows, like, deep down, he got gifted with one. Like, he got by the skin of his teeth.
He definitely squeaked by.
Yeah, he definitely squeaked by. But, kind of like what I alluded to earlier in the studio, like, bro, he needs to get back in the gym, look at the tape, and needs to take another title fight, take another fight before facing Aljamain Sterling for the title, and kind of right those wrongs. Because I mean, bro, Petr Yan was taking him down at will. Like, it was almost easy. Like, if I didn't know any better, bro, I thought Islam was in there.
I did,
bro. Like,
see
that's how easy it was that Petr Yan was able to take Sean O'Malley down.
I do feel Sugar Show did have a couple good sprawls in there. So even though he didn't do it enough and Petr Yan was kind of taking him down, you saw some pieces that can be worked on by the Sugar Show, to me, that shows that he can improve. It's like when you see a little bit of something, but you just don't see enough of it. You know, it's he's not applying it. So when you have a guy who has good takedown game like that, your sprawl game better be there. You know, you better not just be able to do it once. You better be able to do it 4, 5, 6 times if a guy's going to continuously take that down. And I think the Sugar Show, his legs, he's a tall, lanky kind of guy. He has long legs with a short torso, you know, and I think that he is exposed to the leg kick. So he needs to get his defense on that, but at the same time, maybe be more aggressive with some leg kicks, because his striking is, to me, top tier. That's his strength. He wants to strike with you. He wants to get up in there, 1-2 piece combo you. And I really feel like he has that ability. And there was times he was piecing up Yan.
Well, I
think that's what won him the fight.
I was getting ready to say that. I mean, like, he did hit Yan with some nice shots, and he even cut him open. So I mean, like, his striking is on point, and kind of like what you just said earlier, like he's a tall, lengthy dude. So like his thing is he's gonna try to fight you from range, select his shots. Like he's gonna try to use his reach, because that's one of the advantages that he has. But like what you alluded to earlier, needs to work on that takedown defense, needs to work on his defense overall. But he did show that he can go into deep waters, get a grimy win, an ugly win.
Indeed.
But kind of like what I alluded to earlier, like I don't think he should fight Aljamain next. I think he needs another fight. Let him right every wrong from the fight with Yan, and if he looks good in that, then get the title shot and get that fight against Aljamain.
Okay, so I like that's what makes this UFC so beautiful. Is we over here, the very next fight is that championship fight. So what did you see potentially from Aljamain Sterling that night that makes you think he can or cannot beat the Sugar Show?
What I saw was,
or just basically go ahead and assess Aljamain Sterling's performance against Dillanshaw. And what did you break? That's it. Move on, because the hype was there. And I'm with you. I don't believe he got blessed a robbery. I did think Petr Yan did a little bit more to win the fight, but to me, too many swing rounds, no robbery. Sugar Show humbled. I like what I saw. What do we see from Aljamain Sterling, the champ, who Sugar Show is really trying to take down?
I mean, if they were to fight next, and I do think they will, because Dana White pretty much already said, like, the winner of Petr Yan and the Sugar Show, the winner of that gets to face Aljamain for the title. So they're gonna end up fighting, and bro, I think it's just gonna be another night at the office for Aljamain Sterling.
Showing Sugar Show disrespect.
Bro, it's not disrespect. Like, Petr Yan, he's more of a striker. He's more, he wants to stay in the bang. And dude, he took Sean O'Malley down at will. So you look at Aljamain Sterling, who's an elite level grappler. And again, we don't like using that combat sports math, that triangle theory, but it's like, if Petr Yan can do that at will, it makes you wonder, and it makes you think with someone like Aljamain Sterling, whose grappling is a lot more elite, it's more high level, could do to someone like Sean O'Malley. Because we already know, if Aljamain takes your back, it's over. It's automatic. It's almost like Islam, or when Khabib was fighting, like when they get you on the ground and they're on top, it's a wrap. It's over. So what I saw from Aljamain, and he didn't fight no scrub. I mean, he fought a 2-time bantamweight champion in TJ Dillanshaw. It
was a good win, good quality win.
Injury or no injury, bro, he made quick work of TJ. It wasn't even close. Like, Aljamain dominated. So what I saw from Aljamain Sterling was, if they were to fight him and Sean O'Malley, if they were to fight next, bro, I think it's going to be another easy night, another night at the office for Aljamain.
Yeah, I think Yan, just what you said, he would rather stand up and bang with you. But I'm thinking that we know the Sugar Show is his strength is to stand up and strike. He doesn't really have much of a ground game. He has it, but we know it's not on a superior level. So Yan, probably being, more versatile, thinking that he can branch out and do more things in the mixed martial artist. He goes and tries to do the takedown. Ultimately, plenty of people think he really won the fight, but that's what it would have took. If he would have stood up there and banged with Sugar Show for 15 minutes, it probably would have been a UD Sugar Show. Just my opinion. That's the point I'm getting at. That's what won it, because we know the ground game didn't win the Sugar Show to fight. Hell no. It was his standing up, banging 1-2 combos. And man, just when you thought at times Sugar Show should have finished him off, Yan come with that nasty left and had Sugar Show with the Tweety birds flying around his head.
Bro, Yan's
it was
a fucking
great.
Savage, dude.
He was, and
he's a fucking savage. Like,
I lead it with was it a robbery or not? Close fight, but I had Yan winning. He is a savage.
Close fight. I don't think it was a robbery. I know there most people
think
it was, but
I heard worst robbery in UFC history.
Right, but I don't think it was a robbery. but obviously the Sugar Show, he got humbled, and he's got some homework.
He does. He admitted he's got some homework, and if he better go back and look at that Aljamain Sterling tape too, because now the question is, should Sugar Show? Well, you already said Dana White said the winner that's getting that title shot, but would you be opposed to seeing Sugar Show take on Dillanshaw?
Yeah, I would.
You would be opposed to that? You want to see Sugar Show jump straight in? Okay,
no,
maybe you heard. Okay, go ahead.
I heard you wrong. No, I want him to take another fight that's not a title fight. Like, okay. I want him to right the wrongs from his fight with Yan. I want to see improvement in takedown defense overall. Like, I want to see improvement before he takes on Aljamain. Because if they were to fight next, and most likely they will, you know
what's coming. Dana White be listening to that Combat Conversations.
If he does fight Aljamain next, I think Aljamain's going to have another easy night. I think he's going to handle Sean O'Malley. Like, I'm not saying he's going to like knock him out in the first round or anything, but like he's going to cruise to a UD win. Cruise to a dub. That's understandable, you know, because Sugar Show, again, a few times, there's been a few tests that he hasn't passed or failed. It's just simply... And if you know,
the fight didn't get finished with the poke in the eye and the injury. There's been a lot of disappointment around the Sugar Show.
If you notice, like whenever the competition gets upped, like he don't be celebrating in that cage like he used to when he's fighting.
Nah.
You know, you don't see him doing all that showboating shit, and you know, as much as we would like to see that, but like, you know, as that competition gets stiffer, like you don't see him doing that anymore.
No, and we've talked about that before. Like your post-fight reactions with your in-fight performance. You know, like when you act like you just beat the best guy in the world and dominated him, when you really struggled against a trash can, don't act like that. You know, we don't want to see that type of bravado. Be humble. That's what keeps fans. That's what makes fans stay loyal. You don't see all, you know, like Kazmat again. I'm gonna stay on the Kazmat hype train until somebody proves him wrong or me wrong in the octagon. But I'll be honest, just the way he handles himself and carries himself and the bullshit he gets into, you know, it's almost like I'm like, you know what?
It hard to like him.
I hope somebody actually does knock him out, get the dub over him. That's just the way most fans, that's just how some fans are, the way I am. I don't want to see that. So if Sugar Show knows he's got homework to do against Yan and others to be better, but yet he over here acting like he just put him away and, oh man, that should have been a UD. If he'd acted very T.O.-like, I would be looking to jump off the bandwagon. But since the man carries himself well, knows he needs to do better when he has close fights, that's what we ask for. It's like, man, I hope he does get better and dominates the next fight. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. So to move into the main meat and potatoes of it, we both chose Olivera, but we do very well know Islam is the real deal.
Oh, 100%. Like, dude, if there was anyone who I thought could beat Islam, it would be Charles Olivera. But dude, he's on another level. Like, it's crazy. Like, with him, Khabib, and with that Sambo wrestling, cuz, like, bro, they're doing something out there. And that's taking over MMA by storm. Like,
yeah, they out there doing big things. Well, hey, so far, like, is it undefeated?
I mean, I've yet to
see Khabib
someone...
style?
I've yet to see someone actually, you know, beat it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone being able to crack that puzzle, you know, so it's like...
Crack that code.
So it's like, you know, Charles Olivera, he handled himself well, but Islam, like, one can say he manhandled Charles Olivera, because in that first round, you know, like I just said, even though he handled himself well in that round, it's like, bro, I had to give that first round to Islam. Like, at no point could you really argue that Olivera took that round. And then in round 2, he just picked up right where he left off, took Islam down, was able to ride him, and they did manage to get up. And when they went back to the feet, he landed a punch that put Olivera on his ass.
A strike.
And then if you look back at his past fights, you know, whenever Gagey or Poirier or Chandler, whenever they would drop Olivera, they didn't really go to the ground because their ground game or their jiu-jitsu, or they didn't have a wide enough arsenal to go and compete with Olivera at that point in the fight. But when you look at Islam, like after he put Olivera on his ass, motherfucker went straight to the ground. Like he was not scared of Olivera's jiu-jitsu.
Not at all.
Bro, it was an
he don't back to what we talked about before. That style don't play with their food.
No.
They really don't. They go in there aggression. I am going to get you out. Don't matter if you consider the trash can or if you the best. I'm not going in there to play with you.
No, they go in there. They don't play with the food. They get in, do their business, and bounce.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I've always liked Islam.
Yeah, I've always liked him too. It's just that we were giving Olivera his versatility credit, and you know, same thing when we talked about with Khabib. You know, it's the versatility is not. He's not. When you talk versatility, you don't see Khabib in Islam's picture when it comes to versatility. But when it comes to just sheer skill in the grappling and the ground game and control, being in control of the fight, what more can you ask for? Like you said, I just jokingly said, have you seen that style lose a round? It's not many rounds that it has lost. No matter who's using it.
People like to, you know, bitch and complain about the resumes, but I mean, they're passing the eye test by a fucking mile. Like, it's crazy how dominant they are.
Yeah.
Like, even back when Khabib was fighting, like, I know on Twitter I've like trashed his resume. I know I've probably been looked
at. Go ahead and trash it on here then. You know what I'm saying? Don't say something on Twitter you wouldn't say on here.
I know, you know, some people out there think I'm a Khabib hater, but I mean, whenever I watched his fights, like, I'm honest.
You still respect the greatness of what he brings, but
that motherfucker, like, he dominates. It's crazy. Like, like, you can count on one hand how many rounds he lost. Like, that's crazy.
It is. And like you said, the resume, though, it's maybe the names aren't stacking up, but again, how did you look against who was in front of you? And he looked phenomenal basically at all times.
Well, when you get into that GOAT conversation, that's where his resume lags. But I mean, when we're just talking about sheer dominance and, you know, like you said, control and not playing with, you know, them not playing with their food, like that style, that Sambo wrestling, like it takes the cake. Like, and I can't wait to see what Islam does moving forward and hit, you know, right off the bat. You know, he's going up against the pound for pound king, Alexander the Great Volkanovski. And
so I mean, if Islam can beat Olivera and Volk back to back, is that already a deeper resume than Khabib? Is that already better than two things that Khabib's done? Because you could say Khabib's biggest win is what? Conor?
Well, the names on Khabib's resume that hold weight are Conor, Poirier, Gagey, and RDA.
Now, is that back to back to back to back?
RDA came first, and then it wasn't until like a couple fights later that he fought Conor, Poirier, and then Chandler, and then that's when he retired.
Right.
But I mean,
well, for Islam to go back to back like that and to take out two top 5 pound for pound fighters. No, I mean, Oliveira's creep. He's up there in top 5. Then you got Volk number 1. I mean, that could be better than basically anything Khabib has done.
I mean, yeah, one can argue that, but you know, again, if you know, I don't think he's going to retire after 3 title defenses like Khabib, but if he continues to dominate, like if he dominates Volk the way he dominates Olivera, I mean, that's one hell of a start right there. Because the way I see it is when Khabib first won the title, it was vacant. And when Charles won the title first, it was vacant. And granted, this past weekend when they fought, the title was vacant. But a lot of people consider Charles Olivera to be the lineal.
No doubt. He was the champ because we talked about it last episode. He lost it on the scales.
Right.
Yeah, we get it.
A lot of people still looked at him as the champ. So Islam beat the man that beat, he
had
beat the champ.
Had Olivera won, it wouldn't have counted as a title defense.
Right.
He'd have been a 2-time champion, 3-time champion, whatever the fuck that was.
So if, he goes in, he dominates Olivera, and then right off the bat for his first title defense, he goes and he dominates the pound for pound king and Alexander Volkanovski. Like, dude, that'd be fucking nuts.
Oh, no doubt. Back to back, that'd be huge wins for Islam. Oh, his stock would be probably as high as it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt. So that UFC 280 really did bring it. It really did. And
Dana White's been listening.
Abu Dhabi crowd, shout out to it. They was loud as any Vegas arena you could find here.
Dana White's been listening to that Combat Conversation.
Oh yeah, he got his ear out on the streets, man. He got business to handle behind the scenes, but he listens to his consumers way more so than what the fuck we about to get into.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to MMA, shout out to UFC. A lot of big things going on. 281 got Izzy and Pereira right around the corner. Poirier and
Michael Chandler.
Oh my goodness, man,
bro, they keep coming. It's keep coming.
So since Dana White's listening, and obviously he be coming in and be got ear to the streets, why the fuck can't Errol Spence and Bud Crawford find a pin? I mean,
because of Al Heyman.
At this point, it's bigger than just a pin. That's the fact of the matter. The fact of the matter is that there's a lot more bullshit than just finding a fucking pin. That's the problem. Is you got PBC over here can't pay the man apparently a decent price, but yet you got an app, BLK Prime, coming out of nowhere and supposedly can give him 10 million bones to fight David Aviasson. But yet PBC can't come up with a decent number for Bud to fight. I just don't know. We all on the outside looking in. And the last time, man, we was confident. We was like, you know what? This is definitely going to happen November 19th. Mark your... My, just that bullshit. And then you got fucking Fury coming up fighting Chisora. I mean, what is going on, boxing? Y'all was riding high. And then all of a sudden, there's not many ways to salvage it. And I tell you what, but Bud and Aviasson ain't it. Fury and Chisora really ain't it. David Morrell fighting a bum he's about to fight ain't it. David Benavidez is about to fight Usyk, whatever. That ain't it. I mean, come on, man. Caleb Plant fighting Anthony Durrell. Good move. He needs to fight one of the other three at 168. Deontay Wilder coming off a good win. I get it, maybe. Andy Ruiz next. Got to keep the flow rolling. So October 15th was a huge day with the GWOAT coming back. All-female card. Big day. Big day. But the talk of that day was probably Deontay Wilder and the Bronze Bomber coming back. So is the heavyweight division back on notice? Is Fury ducking a fourth fight with Wilder? Nah, I'm just bullshit. Again, he knocks out Helenius. What's next for Deontay Wilder? What do the fans want to see?
Well, if we're talking about wants and needs, like, you've alluded to on past episodes,
wants
like
and needs.
I want to see him go against Usyk. I want to see him go against AJ. But because this is boxing, me and you both know that's never gonna fucking happen. It's not
gonna happen.
So the next best thing, and luckily the WBC, even though they be on their bullshit.
Oh, not to cut you off, bro. You heard the franchise belt went kaput.
Oh, okay.
Man.
So there you go. There you go. That's a start. But the WBC, they're gonna order Ruiz against Wilder for that title eliminator. Winner gets to be Tyson Fury's mandatory. And please, for the love of God, I hope Andy wins. I'm not trying to watch a fourth fight.
I'm not trying to neither, but I'll be honest. I want Deontay Wilder to win that one. I just want to see him knock out Ruiz. I'm not a
I know. Again, but we're talking about
Ruiz don't bring nothing for me.
110. Okay, I get what
I'd
you're
rather
saying.
see Deontay Wilder improve in the boxing game and keep his bomb than see Andy Ruiz squeak. I don't know. Ruiz does nothing for me. He does nothing for me.
No, I get that. But kind of like what I alluded to earlier when we was in the studio, like outside of Tyson Fury, because Fury's been the only one that can get hit by that bomb and get up. Nobody else in the heavyweight division has really shown that they can get up from Wilder's right. And when you look at Andy Ruiz, when you look at his last few fights, again, I don't like using that combat sports math, triangle theory, whatever you want to call it. But it's like he got hit with some shots against Chris Arreola. He got hit with some nice shots with King Kong Ortiz. So it makes you think, like, if he gets popped one good time from that right hand, it makes you wonder how Ruiz will react to that. Is he gonna? Is his lights gonna get cut off? Is the LG&E man gonna come to collect, or can he pull a Tyson Fury and shake off those cobwebs?
I think the LG&E man would come to collect me. I mean, like I said,
same thing.
He was a little late on payment on all the guys you just named. Ortiz, good shots. Chris Arreola, Anthony Joshua. Deontay Wilder's coming to collect.
So, in this...
I think he is. That's just... I really do. And I've seen improvement. You've seen improvement from Deontay Wilder in his boxing. He's had to since he's fought Fury. You can't rely on that bomb. If a guy's going to get up, like I said, if he's not winning rounds, that he's not knocking guys down, he's struggling. But he's gotten better. He's gotten better.
Well, and you look at Usyk, like obviously we know Usyk is miles, like stratosphere ahead of Wilder when it comes to boxing.
Yeah.
But like when you look at his fights at heavyweight against Chisora, against Anthony Joshua, I mean, he still took big shots against those two guys. And not to sound like a broken record, but again, I'm not trying to go off that triangle theory, but it's like if he gets popped one good time by Wilder,
it could be over for him too.
It could be over for him.
It could be over for him as quick as it was over for any of them.
I'm curious to see how Usyk reacts. Like, if anybody goes against Usyk with Wilder's skill set, at the very least, like, they have a puncher's chance. Whereas with Wilder, he has a greater, I don't want to say greater, but
his puncher's chance, whatever chance that is, 1% chance, 3%. Wilder's got the best puncher's. Wilder's got arguably the best puncher's chance in the history of boxing. Him and Mike, him and George Foreman, Rocky Marciano, I guess.
Because that right hand
is a bomb.
It's the ultimate equalizer.
That's it.
It's like if you get touched one time by it, your lights are going out.
Yeah, sometimes they flicker a little bit. Even in Tyson Fury's case, he had to blink a couple times. Whoa, shit. He got back up, but it was big time bomb shots that put who is almost consensus best heavyweight in the world, put him down on his ass 4 times.
Well, I mean, if you go back in that third Fury fight, the first time he put him down, like when Fury got hit, if you look real closely, like you could see the fat ripple off Tyson Fury because of how fucking hard Wilder, like how hard he punches. Like you get hit, your lights are going out.
Ask Robert Helenius. I mean, first round, falling back. Now we know Robert Helenius is not anything super special. Him too is a good hard puncher, but his boxing skills ain't there. It's almost like it's a dead even matchup and who you think has the bigger right hand. Well, that's no question, Deontay Wilder. And sure enough, right on time, Robert Helenius leaves himself wide open on a falling back punch, and Deontay Wilder he hit him kind of flush. I mean, you will say it was Helenius left his side of his face open, and it was just a falling back kind of flush square on the face.
It's crazy how people think like he took a dive.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know. It's hard to believe anybody taking. I'm sure it happens, but
when you watch him, Oh yeah, I agree. But when you watch Robert Helenius go down and you see the way his body just stiffens up, like that's not taking a dive.
No.
Like that's serious Trump. Like anytime you see as much as me and you like to joke about it, but like when you see a fighter's arms like wail all over the place, or the body shakes, or the body stiffens, like that's the body's reaction to serious head trauma.
Yeah.
And at first it didn't look nasty, but then like when you slow it down and you watch Robert Helenius just get his shit absolutely rocked, and you watch his body just stiff, it's not funny, but
no, it's not. I mean, these warriors put their life on the line
for our entertainment,
and we and all we are is just enthusiasts, connoisseurs, gurus.
But when you watch him get his shit absolutely fucking rocked, and you watch him drop and his body just stiffens up, like it's
facts.
It can be scary. It can be a scary sight.
Yeah, it can. And him putting down Robert Helenius just boosted his stock. Is he back? What's going on? Heavyweight division. We got Ruiz on the horizon. So we got the heavyweight division kind of popping right now. So there's a lot coming around the corner with that. But right on that undercard, here was a card that I got to give PBC credit for this was a great card. Although we don't think that the main event was pay-per-view worthy, the rest of the card was pretty good. You got Caleb Plant and Darrell, get into that. Then you had Gary Russell, a Gary Russell brother on the card. Then you had the new Ali, had Frank Sanchez, Vito Milnicki on the prelims. Again, shout out to PBC putting on a decent card. But it's the pay-per-view that really got us. Did it need to be a $75 pay-per-view? And that's the argument. But Caleb Plant delivered. Caleb Plant put Darrell out.
That win for Canelo, it looks good.
Big time.
Big time. Canelo's sitting back and, got a nice big smile on his face. And I know people out there think that, that's bullshit, or, because, he knocked out Anthony Darrell. But like what we've talked about, in boxing, as sad as it is, you don't get the best fighting the best on a consistent basis.
Not enough.
Usually you get the top guys going up against the mid-level, or, garbage cans, plumbers, whatever you want to call them. So usually how they perform against those fighters, it fucking matters. Like,
it will matter.
That's what we use. Like that's part of the formula that we use to put fighters on the pound for pound rankings. So when you got someone like Tank Davis, who's having competitive fights with Rolly and Cruz and Barrios,
does nothing for him.
Like it does nothing for him. Yes, he's getting the win because he's knocking them the fuck out. Well, he didn't knock Cruz out, but for the most part, he's knocking these people's lights out and he's getting the win. But it's like I'm looking at the skill set, and I don't believe he can beat Shakur Stevenson. I don't believe he can beat Devin Haney. I don't believe he can beat Lomachenko.
He's not. And to me,
I'm teetering. I'm teetering if he can beat Ryan Garcia or not. Like
that is ultimately a good fight. But to the point we getting at with the Caleb Plant and Canelo is, what is Rolly gonna turn around and do after Tank? He's not blowing any doors off. Santa Cruz, he's not gonna blow any doors off. Mario Barrios lost to Thurman. He's not blowing any doors off. This was a huge win for Caleb Plant. But as far as resume goes and potential future, reminiscence, that is gonna be a big win for Canelo.
Yeah, definitely.
If Callum Smith continues his reign at 175 and starts running through guys at 175, then that's just making Canelo's win over him look better.
Dude, Callum Smith was
simple as that.
Callum Smith was an underrated win for Canelo. I don't care what anybody says.
Big time. That was a big win. Now,
that was a big fucking win for Canelo.
Callum Smith, we felt like he didn't do enough, press the pace, but it's like, knowing what he can do to other guys, like, is Canelo really that good? Is Bivol that good? I'm anxious to see Bivol after he takes care of Zerto. I want to see an undisputed with Beterbiev. That's obvious. But I'd be lying if I tell you I didn't want to see Callum Smith mix it up with them two at 175.
Oh, absolutely.
Me, I really
absolutely. Do. I mean, like, again, it's crazy. And as I alluded to earlier, as sad as it is, like, the best don't fight the best in boxing. So your performance against these mid-level, B-level, C-level, garbage cans, whatever you want to call them, it absolutely fucking matters. And, credit to Caleb Plant. He boxed Anthony Dirrell's head off, and then he fucking put his lights out, gave him a canvas snap. And like you said, in the long run, when we reminisce and look back, that's going to be a big win for Canelo.
Huge win. Now, Caleb Plant needs to continue to ride this wave, because now where does he go from here? He's got to fight David Benavidez next. He's got to fight Boo Boo next, who's moving up to 168. Jamal Charlo, where you at? You trying to get in the mix. You got to start winning, getting good quality wins. Can't keep waiting for another Canelo payday. Caleb done already got his. Okay, now he's got that L. He's got the monkey off his back. I think he's looking to shine. But Beterbiev, Boo Boo, and Jamal have that don't want to lose that O syndrome. That's what their problem is. Caleb got that off his back.
If Caleb can do what he did to Anthony Dirrell, to David Benavidez, like, bro, that's going to look even better for Canelo. Like, it's crazy.
Don't think it would go down that way. I don't. I'm just saying. But
we're talking what ifs. Like, I think if he was to beat David Benavidez, like, if I'm giving my honest take on it, it would probably be by a split decision.
I think so too. It would be one of those close fights along them lines, no doubt. But I'm wondering if we would kind of get the same type of action where Caleb Plant was doing some good boxing, not really doing much damage to David Benavidez. And then as the later rounds went on, Benavidez's shots is just clearly doing damage to Plant, and then breaks him down round 10, 11, or 12. That would be my illusion of it. I want to see David Benavidez come back, albeit against somebody who we think he should absolutely dismantle. Matter of fact, speaking of David Benavidez, they posted his recent odds of like his last 6 fights, and he's like not even close. The dude is like a heavy favorite. You know why? Because he's fighting trash cans, tomato cans. It's almost like, my goodness, guys. Even David Alycia's not the best, but he's not a bum.
But in his defense, though, Benavidez, he's the only one out of the 3 that have been linked to Canelo that have been trying to get anything going.
Seems that way.
Maul's not doing anything.
Maul's not doing a hot damn thing, and that's a disappointment.
And we're seeing Boo Boo's career just fizzle down with each breath he takes. I mean, like, out of the 3 that have been linked to Canelo, Benavidez, he's been the only one trying to get any action going, and I know he's not in the business for taking moral victories, but it's like, I don't want to say it's got to count for something, but it kind of does.
Yeah. That's like the most disappointing of all the bullshit that we kind of going through right now with the boxing scheme of things. Undoubtedly, the undisputed reigning champion of disappointment right now is Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. There ain't no doubt about it. But then you're looking at 2 guys, really. If you're being honest, you're kind of looking at 2 guys who we disappointed in. When you look at that 160 to 168 range, I mean, we looking at 5-6 fighters. All 4 that we keep mentioning: Plant, Boo Boo, Benavidez, Jamal. Hey, Triple G ain't innocent either. He wasted a lot of time maybe trying to get Canelo's fight back. David Morrell is now in the mix at 168. He's officially a champ. I don't want to see ducking. You need to get in and fight a top guy to show the belt you have. You got a Mickey Mouse belt, but do we consider you a Mickey Mouse champ? To Tank, we joke with the Disney belt, but we know he's also fighting guys from Disney World. He ain't fighting world champs. Different type of world here, Tank. Different type of world, Leo. Uncle Leo, him and Tank, man, they really hang on to that, and they promote these fights as championship fights, knowing that he doesn't have the legitimate one. And that's the same thing with David Morrell. He's got the lower belt, the Mickey Mouse belt, but he's going down the path that we're going to consider him a Mickey Mouse champ as well. And that ain't the sign.
And if the listeners need any more proof how how much of a joke PBC is. Leonard Ellerby, didn't he block you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm blocked. Uncle Leo blocked me. I was spitting facts to him. Told him about that. He said Tank brings in, I don't know what he said, but he just basically admitted that it was about Devin Haney too. I think I hit him up twice. That's why he blocked me, because I hit him up with some facts, and then I followed it up with some facts about, he's like, Devin Haney's right, so even though the fans want it, some fights don't make business sense right now. So I was like, let me back that up. Let me explain that. So Leonard Ellerby, you listening, we in a conversation. He's on the call right now. You know what I'm saying? He's in the studio, Combat Conversations. And I'm like, so the fights that the fans want to see ain't really smart right now because of the money? Like, I don't get it, because they're going to spend more money to see Tank and Haney. So he just admitted that if he's going to lose, he wants 20 mil. But he'll go ahead and fight somebody who he knows he'll beat for 5 mil. Like, and then when I put that out there, he just basically blocked me, because that's just it. If Tank is going to take a fight right now that he can potentially lose, I think he wants an extravagant amount of money. And Ryan Garcia fight could bring in that money that he's talking about to take that L, potentially. If he fights Ryan Garcia, they both could be easily walking away with 10 mil apiece.
Well, I think another tweet you replied to as well by Leonard Ellerby, he said something, I don't remember what he said word for word, but he said how they don't really care about belts. And then you hit him up with the response of, well, if that's the case, can you stop promoting Tank's fights as world title fights then?
Facts. The lightweight championship of the world. It's not.
No, it's not.
Devin Haney's got the real belts.
It's a Mickey Mouse Disney belt.
Because he knows. He knows that if he just takes that little line off, that might be 20,000 pay-per-view sales right there. Who knows? He's right. Maybe the majority of hardcore fans don't. I get it, Uncle Leo. But you constantly talking about casuals. And if you got a casual who sees lightweight championship of the world, and you got a casual who just sees tanking somebody, there's no belt on the line, that's going to be the casual selling point. Oh, it is a championship fight. Let me see it. But the hardcore fans like us know that it's not. So he's got a point. But yet, when I bring up the fact, well, you're right. If they don't care about belts, just scrap the lie that you keep telling us. Bam, I get hit with that block. He blocks people who spit facts to him. That whole PBC right now is not in a good boat. Showtime ain't looking good. The deal with Fox ain't looking good. Hey, there's a lot of research out there to be done to show that it's just not going in the right direction. That's all we need to know. And that is why Bud is running to some app that nobody's ever heard of who could somehow pay him 10 mil. And I get it. It could be a loss on their side, but you got to get your foot in the game.
If you're Bud, what would you do? Would you continue to wait around and go through the PBC bullshit, or would you just take a fight, against... I don't want to say he's a complete trash can, because
David Aviason's not. He's not. He's got a better record and better resume than Yugas.
His last 6 fights have all ended in knockout. When you look at the rankings, he's ranked by, I think, 3 of the 4 major sanctioning bodies. And Staniosis, who might be the next guy in line to fight. Yeah,
Staniosis is a champ, though. That's why. So Staniosis is not ranked by any of the sanctioning bodies because he's a champ.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. He's not even ranked.
Well, he's not ranked because he's a champ. They purposely don't put him on there. So, don't use that as an argument as, well, he's not ranked, so he's not top 10. No, if he wasn't a champ, I promise you Stanionis would be top 10. He's a top 10 overall 147 to me. But I'm just saying that when you look at reason and why David Aviason is in 3 of them and why Stanionis ain't ranked in any of them is because he's considered a champ. So once he was either to lose the champ or whatever, that's why he's not in it. So when you bring up those rankings, keep that in mind. That's why he's not ranked.
Okay.
But I think Stanionis is easily a top 10 147 pounder. Yeah, no doubt. Outside 6, 7, 8. You going Errol Spence, you going Bud, you going Boots, Virgil Ortiz, Thurman. That's 5 right there. Conor Benn with his steroid taking ass. That's 6. So there's a lot of players at 147. So he's outside top 10 to me, but to that point,
I mean,
David Aviasson ain't no.
It would still be a good quality win, really, for either of them, for
No
Bud
doubt.
and Spence.
No
But
doubt.
it's like, if you're Bud, do you just continue to wait around, go through the bullshit that PBC's doing, or do you just want to take a fight and get your highest career payday?
Oh yeah. If they offering me money that PBC can't come up with to fight him, I would take that, no doubt. I get that. Well, here's my point. I would not take that money to fight David Aviasson simply because of money. Like say PBC's like, hey, we can only give you $5 million to fight Errol Spence, even though that's some bullshit. If we can only give you $5 million and BLK's like, hey, we'll give you $10 million to fight David Aviasson, I'm not gonna take the $10 million simply because it's $10 million. Now, if PBC saying, hey, we can't, blah blah blah, and if you're gonna fight Spence, it's gonna be like March, early 23. Well, if that's the case, how about I scoop up this $10 million right now while it's on the table, dust this guy, and then I'll still fucking be ready by March and then take your money and beat Errol Spence. That could be the thought process. That's what I would say. If it's simply just to take the money because they're offering more, I wouldn't, because I think if I am Bud, what's most important to me is to beat Errol Spence. But if, like I just said, if they already talking, hey, even if you don't fight this guy, you're still not fighting Errol Spence until early next year, February, March, April, then no. Then I'm scooping up the $10 million while it's on the table to fight in December. And then I'll revisit the conversation to fight Errol Spence early next year. But then then Errol Spence is going to take a fight early next year against Keith Thurman, Stanionis. PBC's going to keep it in-house. They're going to make sure he don't get rusty. And then bam, we don't fucking revisit the conversation again until summertime of next year. Oh, my motherfucking goodness.
Do you think that's the route Bud's going, though?
I do think so, because PBC's playing so many games from the outside looking in. That's just it. We don't know. We not at the tables, but from the outside looking in, it just looks like PBC is making sure that they get their way. They will not, under no circumstances, let Bud walk away with a better deal than they want him to have and get a fucking victory. No, that's not happening. PBC is already teetering on that borderline of what they can and cannot do financially. And if they give Bud what he wants and he walks away with dubs, that's not good for PBC. They don't want that. So I really do think that's my final opinion on the matter with him fighting David Aviasson, is that he knows PBC's playing too many games for too long. I got this promotion offering me ridiculous amount of money to fight this guy now. Let me scoop this money up and I'll revisit the conversation when it's convenient for y'all. That's it. If Spence fights Thurman, Stanionis, or whatever, then hey, it is what it is. At least I get my money and I stay active in the meantime. What else do you do? That's it,
bro. I feel like that's all it's ever going to be. It's just we'll revisit. We will revisit. Like that's all it's ever going to be. I don't think they're ever going to fight. And if they do fight by any chance, I think Bud is going to be aged out. I think the fight will not match the hype.
Fight ain't gonna match the hype anyway. We've talked about that. It just ain't so.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's never gonna happen. I went ahead, accepted it, and moved on.
That's it. Friends gone.
I think boxing fans need to do the same.
We'll do it. All right, let me get that out the way. Let's get that tear jerk out the way. And let's move on to a positive note. Okay, positive note. The females did it huge on October 15th. My goodness. That all-female card, that all-women's boxing card. Hey, I'm looking forward to the next one. Especially when you got main events like that. Clarissa Shields, Savanah Marshall, Alycia Baumgardner, Mikela Mayer. That whole card was banging.
Really, it's the women who are just they're keeping boxing on life support right now.
They really are. The
guys are dropping the ball left and right, and I mean, because think about it. We just had Clarissa Shields, Savanah Marshall, Mikela Mayer, and Alycia Baumgardner. And then earlier we had Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. And Katie Taylor's back next week. Yeah, and she's back next week. So it's like, bro, the guys are just dropping the ball. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's ego. I don't know, bro. But like, they need to take a note from the ladies, because they're the ones keeping boxing on life support right now.
No doubt. And to talk about that card, start off with the first fight, Alycia Baumgardner and Mikela Mayer. Another fight that I had some people claiming robbery. Really do think that Mikela Mayer won that fight, and I didn't see it going that way. I had Alycia Baumgardner winning that fight handily, I might say. Wasn't a easy fight. It's just one of, boxing is judged round by round, and although you may have had some swing rounds in there, ultimately, I think Alycia Baumgardner went up in there and just boxed all around Mikela. So in a 10-round fight, I really felt Alycia won absolutely 5 solid rounds. 5 solid. Like, there should be no argument to me, in my eyes. If I'm sitting and watching objectively with another boxing fan, I can make a case that Alycia won 5 rounds with no questions asked. And in the other 5 rounds, the swing rounds, that's when you can argue, hey, Mikela won 3 of those, and then Alycia won 2. And now you're looking at a 7-3 fight. And that's where I feel like Alycia pulled away and became the better fighter the early rounds. And then Mikela came on strong late to make it seem like it was an overall great fight. But Alycia, to me, was the rightful winner. No robbery involved.
No, I don't think it was a robbery either. And, as I've told you many times before, like, if I can't convincingly say you won the fight, then I don't think you deserve the win. I don't think she did enough to even really deserve a draw. I can kind of see why people would lean that way, but like, early on in the fight, like, Alycia was just boxing her head off. Like, for the first, like you said, first 5 rounds, I easily gave it to Alycia.
Yeah, I had it 4-1 after 5. The 2 rounds that I gave Mikela, like, undoubtedly, I gave Mikela 2 rounds, 4 and 6, and 9, if you want to say 9-2. That's 3 rounds.
I would have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure I gave Alycia the first 5 rounds.
Close. Definitely a good fight, but
and then mid rounds towards the end, Mikela made it interesting, but it wasn't enough for me to say, yeah, Mikela won. No, Alycia won that fight comfortably, in my opinion. Yeah. But I wouldn't say it's a robbery. I certainly got my money's worth.
I think we all did.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I thought Alycia won that fight. It wasn't even close, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really kind of the same feel. 10-round fight. For going round by round basis, Alycia looked better. That left hand, man, I think that left hand jab was underrated all night. None of the announcers really wanted to acknowledge it, but yet you go back and watch, Alicia's left hand was just keeping Mikela at bay whole fight. And I gotta give her credit for the boxing technique that she showed to keep Mikela Mayer, who's a bigger hitter, off her back.
Well, which did you watch it on? Because remember, that was on BT Sport.
Oh, yeah,
ESPN.
yeah.
So if you're watching BT Sport, of course the announcers
watch it on mute. I'm like Shannon Sharp.
I
watch it on mute.
If you watch it on BT Sport, of course the announcers aren't going to give any love to Alycia. But, yeah, I mean, that jab, it was absolutely disgusting. I mean, it was there all night. And, I don't want to say Mikela gave rounds away early. I just think Alycia is levels above Mikela.
She went up in there and took them. I agree.
She boxed her head off those first 5 rounds. And then mid rounds, towards the end of the fight, Mikela made it interesting. But she didn't do enough, in my opinion, to even get a draw. I felt Alycia won that fight.
Yeah, I agree. So Alycia stepped up, which was a great fight. And then all of a sudden, I remember even, I believe we was talking right after that felt like a main event. Alycia and Mikela Mayer, that fight truly felt like a main event. And I remember, like, we still got another fight. We still got Clarissa Shields and Savanah Marshall.
And see, real quick, like, I don't understand why boxing as a whole doesn't do that more. Like, you had 2 fights, like Alycia Baumgardner, Mikela Mayer, and then you had Savanah Marshall and Clarissa Shields. And then, if I remember correctly, I saw on social media, like, that was the most viewed women's fight in the history of women's boxing. It had like 2 million viewers or some shit like that. Like, I don't understand why boxing can't do that. Like, of course they put on cards with multiple quote unquote title fights, but I'm talking like legit champion against champion, like legit fights like that.
That it's
like,
tough because they know that the co-main is main event worthy, and they just don't want to do that. That's their own fucking problem. That's why. I mean, you know, the women are willing to sacrifice and step up and do it, but the men ain't. And when you got guys like Leonard Ellaby, Al Heyman, and these guys pulling the string, even Bob Arum, he probably ain't innocent from the shit. My point is that when they see a title fight, they're like, oh, this is main event worthy. Nah, motherfucker, why don't you put on a main and a co-main, and then you get popularity in the eyes. It's just something. You asking questions, and we kind of know the answer to it, but we just don't know why they feel that way. And it ultimately hurts the boxing game.
Boxing fans, they like to brag about how, you know, certain boxers get a wealthy payday, and I'm not saying that they don't deserve said payday, but it's like they'll brag about that, but then they'll continuously bitch about how the entire card as a whole, like the quality of the entire card is bad. And it's like, bro, if you all put more quality fights on a card, I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot better for everybody.
Already, no doubt. And boxing fans know this, and they've been crying and clamoring for something like this for a long time. They really have. And when they see cards like that, they get excited. I get it. Caleb Plant and Darrell had no belt on the line, but that was still a very good co-main event. You know, I've seen much worse than that. You know, it
was good for what it was.
Yeah, we get into it. It'll be the last thing we talk about. Haney and Kambosos. Undercard, not really that good. You had the Maloney brothers, but again, not really that good of a card. But Clarissa Shields against Savanah Marshall, we thought the co-main event delivered, the main event delivered too. And Clarissa Shields ultimately showed why she's the GOAT, cuz 3 division undisputed champ. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's time.
When we talking boxing, she's the GOAT.
When I think even in boxing alone, I think it's time we put her in the top 5, male or female, all time.
I can get with that. As far as accomplishments, no doubt. No doubt.
I mean, we do it for MMA with Amanda Nunes, so I don't know why we can't do it with Clarissa Shields. I mean, she's doing things that the men aren't even doing. Like,
the men wish they could.
Men, they don't even have, you know, 2 undisputed weight champs, like in weight classes.
Nobody's done it twice, and she's done it 3 times.
And she's over here doing it 3 times. Like, she's collecting undisputed titles like Thanos is collecting Infinity Stones. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. And she showed up. Savanah Marshall tried to go up in there and do a little shoulder bob. Thought she was Tyson Fury for a little bit. Clarissa Shields wasn't having it. She just went up in there and pulled the Usyk. Just slippery. She was slippery. I give her that. She jabbed really well, maneuvered. Even when Savanah Marshall had Clarissa backed up against the ropes, nope. Clarissa just was elusive, wasn't getting stung with a lot of shots, and she was boxing beautifully. And another one, 10-round fight, easily 7-8 rounds went Clarissa's way. Gave Savanah 2-3 rounds. It's not really, you know, I think it was stamped. It was stamped.
It was competitive, but
just what you're about to say. Nah, unarguable winner in this case.
No, I get that. I was gonna say that. Like, Clarissa won the fight clearly, but Savanah made it, like Mikela, she made it interesting towards the end of the fight, but it wasn't enough to sit there and say Savanah. No, Clarissa she's levels above Savanah. Mm-hmm. Clearly, she's improved since their last meeting in the amateurs. And I mean, as far as boxing goes, we're not talking about all of combat sports, but as far as boxing goes, yes, Clarissa Shields is the GOAT, like, without question. No doubt.
And, you know, hey, the more she keeps doing this shit, she's collecting boxing belts like Thanos, it's going to be thought of what, you know, hey, who's the greatest woman combat sports? And then you bring Nunes into it. Then you start comparing resumes. But it's going to take Clarissa to beat the Savanah Marshalls of the world to bring up that conversation all day. And she did it. Give her 100%
absolutely.
credit. Beautiful. And
I mean, shout out to the women, though.
Shout out to them. Big day, October 15th. Never forget that day in women's boxing history.
Can't praise them enough. Like, it's crazy how they can get fights done, but, you know, the guys can't. It's too hard. It's, you know, for whatever the reasons are.
Yeah. And before we hop off to end the episode, we did get a little bit of a good NyQuil right before that night was over. Devin Haney and Kambosos. Yet again, same outcome. Different fight, same outcome. Devin Haney's just... that sweet science is just too good for Kambosos. Kambosos can't get in and make contact with him. And Devin Haney just boxes his head off.
I mean, Kambosos, you know, he is a warrior. He wants to fight the best, but, I mean, he's just... there's levels to this game, and he's not on Devin Haney's level at all.
No,
like,
and he knows it. He acknowledged after the second fight, you know, hey, I want to congratulate Devin Haney. He's truly a special fighter. You know, it was a lot more acknowledging greatness, acknowledging somebody's better than me. You know, unlike AJ, in denial. I don't know why you beat me. I'm 17 stones. I don't know why. Like, what do you mean? Just say, hey, I can't get this guy. I'm going to continue to work to get on his level maybe, but at the moment I just can't. And that's what that's what Kambosos wound up saying about Haney. Got to give him his credit. And just like you said, he wanted to fight the best. He could have had his voluntary defense. Nope. Hey, is Loma available? Can't get Loma? Fight Devin Haney. And I mean, you got to respect him for that. And in the midst that he needs to get in and do something, Kambosos at the moment looking like a 135 gatekeeper.
Oh, right now, yes, he's absolutely a gatekeeper.
Yeah, I think he needs to take some time off and reevaluate what he's going to bring.
I don't see him beating Loma. I don't see him beating...
There's a lot of guys I don't see him beating. And hey, many guys don't see him beating T.O. again. One night, T.O.'s, injuries and all that. Hey, it's tough. Man, Kambosos would probably be confident, but you might see a different fight.
At 135, I think I would still give Kambosos a shot, but I wouldn't be surprised if T.O., got the dub. But at 140, then T.O. clearly runs away with it.
Yeah. So if we talking about this Super 6 real quick in this 135, 140, who do we see coming out on top of that? Is Shakur and Haney, like, to me, to you, steps above everybody else at that division? Because then you got them two, then you got Loma, you got Tank.
Not to
Did somebody put Rolly in it?
Bro.
Maybe I saw something like that. I don't know. I don't think Shakur did.
I know people put Cruz in there, but I haven't seen anything about Rolly.
Hey, then that's what we need right now. We need Pitbull versus Rolly right now. Settle all the argument. I'm down for that fight. I mean, I need that on an undercard. I'm not trying to fucking see that as a main event. If it is going to be a main event, it better be on fucking regular Fox. Better be on Showtime. But you and I know it's not, just because they're going to try to drain us.
No.
But again, that'd be a fight, that's the type of fights we need to see on the undercard of a big Tank and Garcia card.
But no, to answer your question earlier, I think Shakur he's just levels above everybody, including Devin Haney.
Haney has a little bit, to me, bigger of attributes, maybe he's a little bit naturally bigger of a guy at the moment. It's really tough. I do think Shakur is top dog. But if I'm being honest, I think Haney's kind of right on his heels. And then it's a wide gap between the third. I like me some Loma, man. I know you like Loma too. But I think right here, right now, there's a bigger gap between Haney and Loma for second and third than there is between Shakur and Haney being 1 and 2. That's me.
I mean, we'll see.
We will. Loma fighting next week. I think Loma's going to bring it. Ortiz will be a good, formidable win if he can. We know Ortiz is no slouch. This is definitely a test to see where Ortiz stands and where Loma stands.
Well, if Loma performs well, like he did against Comey and Nakatani, then I think he's done enough to get a crack at Haney. And I feel like that's where we'll see where Loma's at. If he has one of those close competitive fights that can go either way, then he's still showing that he's one of the best at 135. You know, if not, then you know, you would be right. You know,
yeah.
There's levels. There's a big gap between Haney and Loma. A bigger gap than
and then a huge gap
Shakur.
between Loma and Tank.
Oh,
and then fucking leagues and football fields between Tank and Rolly. And first is Tank and Pitbull. Then there's another country between Pitbull and Rolly. That's funny. But you know, that essentially that's what it's all about. That's what that Super 6 brings. And I'm anxious to see what's going on. Can't wait till Regis comes back. 140. Man, it's gonna be hot. Got a lot going on in the combat conversations world, baby.
You can call it fanboy. How do you say it? Fanboy.
Fanboyism.
I mean, you can call it that, but I really do think Regis is the best at 140. I do. You know, I know on paper, Josh Taylor won. He went on to be undisputed, but you know, in my opinion, I feel like he handed Taylor his first loss, and I've not seen anyone outbeat Regis at all.
No,
so
not like that.
I think Regis is still the top dog at 140. So, I mean...
And I don't think we talking about giving Josh Taylor enough shit, man. Fucking fought in Jack Catterall in February. You know, come on now, time's ticking on you. You done vacated 3 of the 4 belts or something. Like, what's going on? You know, Josh Taylor need to get back in the ring and avenge that so-called win. You know, that's another story for another argument. But you know, he don't need to be no slack cut neither. Point blank.
Absolutely.
So, lastly, we want to thank y'all for listening to another episode of Combat Conversations. Please like us on Facebook, Combat Conversations. Follow us on Twitter, Combat Convo 504, Combat Convo 502. Get in on all the latest takes and opinions. Once again, I've been your boy AG.
And I'm your boy DB.
Peace.